talk about or expand upon the wrist extension a little bit. So the wrist extension that we just help to increase with the extension mobilizations that I showed you on the previous post, just in case you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, is very useful, enabling for your wrists to accommodate for certain poses, certain postures. These poses include things like the wheel pose, the 4-point full bridge pose, or things like the crow, going into things like handstand, another fantastic pose to kind of like balance out the world a little bit. What do I mean by balance here? To get more of a grounded understanding based around what is to be selfish. Sometimes, what am I talking about here? So the selfish tendencies that we have, for example, to promote my image on a particular media platform, for example, is this it? Well, hopefully this is more to do with sharing. That's the intention anyway, or was my intention. If that gets distorted at all in any way, then that's something I need to reflect upon. But if it's based around presenting myself as being prowess or great or cool or this, that and the other, then maybe the intention has been a bit distorted based around actual selfishness. Selfishness here, if it means to isolate yourself off from the world, to become more internal, just to warp yourself around in circles based around your own personal narrative, then yeah, perhaps this is a bit of a selfish sort of orientation too. However, if the isolation is based around investigating the self, going deeper into the perception of the subtle world, the subtle sensations that actually dissipate the illusion of the self itself and promotes the relationship, felt sense of the world, other beings no longer being other, nature no longer being separate. I don't feel this is selfish at all. If you're going to call it selfish, then it's the selfishness to accommodate or facilitate the amplification of relationship. Then good, head towards that sort of selfish. Always remember to come back into the world after that and share whatever you have, whatever sharing it is, because you'll be radiating in some way. You won't be projecting or reacting or cycling around your own tendencies of self-propagation. You'll be investigating the dissipation itself of self. Or if you still want to call it self, then it's everythingness self. That's a useful place to retreat to. True retreat. Retreating in order to resource and come out of the cocoon to share into the world. That isn't in the common understanding of selfishness, selfish at all, in any way whatsoever. Projecting on another person who perhaps has the wish to do that as being selfish is itself selfish. If an individual were to judge another person like that or project in that particular manner, it's their own self propagation, justification, narrative assertion that actually does that. If it is a group, you can see it very much in this day and age. You know, when a group has this common held belief or particular way of perceiving the world that is shared as a group, then it becomes a strong belief. It becomes an upheld and supported, justified belief. And in actual fact, if there is no real sense of the subtlety that is our source, it is our essence, then it will always come from a gross narrative-based projection. It will always be self-serving. That will be selfish. That is the selfishness of selfishness. There will always be some sort of a need to support this belief in order to sow the seeds. Other people can believe it as well, and to project the other person as being this, that, or the other. This is the mind, the gross aspect of the mind. The subtle aspect of being is never involved with that. It has no place in that. There's just a sapping of one's own energy in that. And so the energy that is seemingly coming in is only from the applause of the group that's supporting it. This is a false energy. This is a cyclical energy that will eventually burn out. It'll eventually reach its demise. It might be a long time in the future. It might be very, very short-lived. It doesn't matter. There's no satisfactoriness of this felt sense whatsoever. Not at the root level. There's no satisfactoriness. Even if it feels like there is temporarily, or there is, in a sort of a vague sort of, well, I'm feeling good because, I've got, more material attributes now. I've got more of this, that, and the other. I'm able to actually share my belief to a wider cohort of people. That's not satisfactoriness. It never can be. Okay, let's do the crow. Crow's a really good one for seeing whether the wrists have truly reached their extensibility potential.